So, good news to start off this review. The lighting's fixed. So, Instant Family is directed by Shawn Anders and stars Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne as a couple who find themselves in over their heads when they foster 3 children and have to learn to grow as a family together as they grow closer as a family. You know, originally I was going to start off this review by doing a really funny Mark Wahlberg impression, but then I did it on camera and looked back at it and realised that is the most cringy and embarrassing thing I've ever done in my life, so you will never see that. But in regards to Shawn Anders as the director of this film, his previous work is, I guess, something to turn up your nose at, I suppose. I mean, this is the guy who did Horrible Bosses 2, which is not a great film. And then he did the Daddy's Home movies, which, to be honest, I actually kind of enjoy. Like, those kind of American comedies are kind of things that I typically enjoy. And particularly Daddy's Home 2, I just found to be something nice around Christmas time last year that I did actually quite enjoy. But I actually went into Instant Family with quite high expectations. This movie came out a couple months ago in the US, came out with very strong reviews, and I actually really loved the trailer for this movie. So I thought to myself, why not? Let's just get into the good mindset for this movie. And I have to say, Instant Family was a true joy of a film. I really loved every single moment of it, and I think that this film was just perfect timing, especially here in the UK where we're getting slammed and slammed with all the Oscar films. It's, as much as I love those movies, it's nice just to kind of sit back and just, you know, relax and enjoy something like this. This movie couldn't have been more perfect in its timing, and I have to say, I think the movie's just great in its own right. First off, Mark Wahlberg in this movie is brilliant. I think he's really well cast in this role, and I think he's really funny in this movie. Mark Wahlberg in his comedic roles can sometimes be hit or miss. I think Mark Wahlberg in general can be hit or miss, but I feel like in this role, in this particular film, he just fits it so well in playing this kind of dumb idiot at times, and I think he played it off incredibly well. I think he does a great job here, and he is completely, you know, tenfold Mark Wahlberg in this movie as well. He is just so, you know, every like Mark Wahlberg cliche, the fast talking, the high pitched voice, the craziness, it's all here in this film. Like, he is peak Wahlberg in this movie, and it's brilliant to watch. He completely eats up that script and completely chews up that scenery. And then Rose Byrne, who plays his wife in this movie, amazing. Rose Byrne is so underrated. She is such a comedic talent in Hollywood, and she does not get recognised for it. Every film I have ever seen with her, whether it's the Neighbours movies or Spy, she is just such a standout in every single movie I ever see her in, and in here she's absolutely brilliant. Her comedic timing is on point, and her chemistry with Mark Wahlberg is off the charts. This is just such a good piece of casting. These two, Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne together, are both comedic geniuses when they come together like this. I've never seen them in a movie before, I believe, but I'm very, very happy with the results here because they were just absolutely phenomenal together, and just their chemistry, like I say, on fire. And the kids in this movie were not annoying, which was very, very surprising to me. You know, they have 3 kids in this movie. There's a teenager, there's a sort of 10-year-old-ish, and then there's also like a kid who's very, very young, and I feel like they all did a great job. I mean, the younger kids don't get too much play because they are very young and they don't really get that much dialogue, but the real standout of this movie for me is Isabela Moner. I'm telling you now, I've been saying this for months, and I'm going to keep saying it because no one's been getting behind me on this, and I'm still professing this. Isabela Moner is the next big thing. She is fantastic in this film. I mean, I really liked her in Transformers 5. I thought she was incredible in Sicario 2. And seeing her in this movie, while a very different role to Sicario 2, is so real. I've never seen a more realistic depiction of a teenage meltdown in my life. There is a particular moment in this film towards the end where Isabela Moner has to break down, and she sold it so well. I've never seen it done so realistically. The way she was crying, the way she was just acting to the information she was receiving was so real. And I've seen that reaction from so many people at my own age. It was crazy. I was absolutely blown away by her performance in this movie. And like I say, I think she's the next big thing. I will fully expect to see her getting cast in so many more things. She's got a lot more projects coming up, which is really lovely to see. And I think we're going to be seeing so much more of Isabela Moner as years go on. And she is going to evolve into her own movie star. Honestly, she's one to watch, and I think you really need to keep your eye on her because she's going to do so well in this industry. There is also a brilliant comedic duo in this movie of Octavia Spencer and Tig Notaro, and they were brilliant in this movie. I mean, I knew Octavia Spencer was funny, but I didn't know she was this funny. Like, in this movie, she's going outright comedy, and I've never really seen that from her. Normally, she has, like, kind of this sarcastic humor. They're normally, like, you know, this kind of funny, just situational, relatable humor in her roles. But here, she goes straight out comedy, and she is hilarious. I think she's so great. I mean, I'm a big Octavia Spencer fan. I love anything. Like, anytime I see her cast in a movie, it's just like a nice relaxing thing. I'm like, oh, Octavia Spencer's in this movie. But seeing her here go full outright comedy is a real joy, and she's really great at it too. And pairing her with Tig Notaro in her kind of blank-faced, almost dry comedy works so well. Like, them two together were just really hilarious. Like, it's kind of like an interesting parallel, because you got Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne great together, and then you have Octavia Spencer and Tig Notaro, who are also brilliant together. And I just think all the comedians in this movie, all the roles, everything was so perfectly cast, and everything was so funny, and a lot of it does come down to the performances, because they were all brilliant in this film. Like I say, the comedy in this movie worked, and it worked so well. The script I was expecting to be very silly, you know, coming off of Daddy's Home. I was thinking, yeah, this movie's going to be kind of silly. There's going to be a lot of silly humour, stuff that will probably make little kids laugh, and kids, older kids, and also adults groan. But it actually wasn't. The script for this film is actually very real and very clever, and the humour is actually something that works, and that incredibly surprised me watching this film. I was actually thinking at it, you know, listening to these jokes, really laughing quite a lot, thinking to myself, wow, like, this is actually impressive comedy, and I never expected that. I thought that this movie was going to be completely under the rug as a silly comedy, and while there are a couple of silly jokes in it, yes, for the most part, this film is incredibly well written on a comedic standpoint, and I have to give it full credit for that.
Hey, I saw the picture you sent her, Jacob.
You're lucky I'll end your life right now, Carrot Top.
We're gonna call your mom.
You're going down today.
So what do you think of that, Jacob?
My name's not Jacob.
What? Okay.
And while this movie is extremely funny, it's also incredibly heartfelt. This is a really nice story. This is something that obviously, you know, the movie goes on about how adopting kids is this kind of thing that's seen as this really courageous thing to do, but it also just shows it from the standpoint of the kids, like these kids who, you know, they don't see it like that. They just see it as a fact that they don't have a home, they don't have parents, they don't have people to talk to, they don't have people to care for them, and that's all they care about. That's all they want. They don't care about, you know, how you feel in adopting them. They just want you to love them. And I think that was a really good message for this movie to go for, instead of just showing Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne as like these hero type characters for adopting these kids. No, it instead deals with that theme, but actually deals with it in the correct way. And I was incredibly impressed with that, and I think the entire theme of the movie and the messages it carries and deals with and sends to the audience is really relevant and really timely and works so well for the film. Overall, I loved Instant Family. I thought this movie was so good, and like I said, it came around at the perfect time. After getting slummed with all the Oscar films, you know, it was nice just to kind of take a break from all that and just sit back and relax with this comedy. And I thought, again, the comedic elements of this movie just really landed for me. The heartfelt moments really pulled at my heartstrings. I laughed at this movie, I cried at this movie, and the cast, the performances, it all comes together in a perfect little package. And to be honest, I would love to see this movie again. I just think it's a brilliant little movie that you really shouldn't miss. So have you guys seen Instant Family? If you did, what did you think about it? Make sure you let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's have a conversation about this movie in the comments. And as always, if you want to see more movie reviews from me, be sure to subscribe. And I hope to see you guys again in my next video.